I can tell you that there will be ownership groups chomping at the bit to try and get in.
There's going to be another Arizona Coyotes.
From the outside looking in, what are your thoughts on how things unfolded in Arizona?
Well, I mean, it's all very unfortunate, obviously, right? I think everybody loved going to Arizona, loved seeing games there. I know it's a vibrant fan base that, probably has an undeserved reputation because, the ownership was putting a bad product out there time and time again. Nobody wanted to see him move to Utah. It feels weird. It feels rushed. I don't even think Utah seems ready at this point. They've got a 10,000 seat arena with bad sight lines. I'm not sure it's that much of an upgrade over Mullet Arena. But, with Alex Murillo out of the picture now, hopefully that opens the door. This is what the league wanted. And hopefully that opens the door for a quicker return to Arizona because they're coming back. Like, there's going to be another Arizona Coyotes. It's just a matter of when. Somebody's got to find the money and someone's got to find a place to build an arena. And once shovels are in the ground, the NHL is going to be racing back to get to Arizona.
I mean, it's sad. It's horrible. It's embarrassing. I don't know what other words I can use that I haven't used over like the last 5 to 10 years involving the Coyotes. But it's wild that it just like continues to be embarrassing after they're like still gone.
It's really kind of a shame because you saw a market that just never really seemed to get its footing, multiple ownership groups and multiple arenas. And I personally, I just felt like we never got to see what the fan base could be like because there was always those barriers. So I think there was a lot of potential and it was unfortunately unseen in the end.
Has anybody not said sadness yet?
I'm not sure.
Is sadness not taken? Because I still remain very, very sad. And the saddest part about it is now it's the point in the breakup where, like, people are moving on. Like, seeing the Utah Hockey Club take the stage and draft TJ Ginla and everyone react and be like, wow, TJ Ginla is going to be playing in Utah and all this stuff. I'm like, the train really has left. Like, this really is moving, and who knows when they'll be back. I really hope they'll be back. Before this year, I probably wouldn't have had the strongest opinion on it, but All City and PHNX specifically has really kind of like smashed in front of my eyes how important this is to so many people. And like, I've turned into a huge like hockey belongs in the desert Bobo. So as I see all of the Utah kind of half branding, I'm happy for fans in Utah, but I'm like, man, this is real.
I guess maybe not really all that much of a surprise when you consider really everything that unfolded the last calendar year in Arizona. It kind of felt like we couldn't really believe that the NHL was comfortable continuing on with the Alex Murillo group. I think they viewed that as a sort of way to move on from the deal. And if you were somehow able to pull everything together and to get this new arena built, wading into an area that he didn't have any expertise in, well, then I guess they were prepared to live with the consequences, but I think they knew that the odds were heavily stacked in their favor from the beginning. And that part has sort of, I think, been a huge relief. And really, this is going to sound, from a negative perspective, but it's not. I think this is actually a huge win for hockey fans in Arizona. Because if they were stuck with the Alex Murillo group going through this time and time again, error after error, really all it does is delay the process. And so now what you're able to do is put together a proper ownership team with proper funding to build a proper arena that hockey fans in the Valley deserve. And no one's ever been thinking that hockey can't work in Arizona. It just hasn't been able to work where it was, and it hasn't certainly been able to work with like 6 ownership groups. So now you have a clean slate, and I think that's what this franchise and city really needed.
Do you think that they're going to return? And if so, can you give a year prediction?
Just based on what little I know about Arizona government, like 2099 or something like that. I don't know, but hopefully within the next 3 or 4 years. I think that's very optimistic. That's what I would like to see. I mean, it's very clear the league's going to 36 teams very soon, so they're going to want to do it as quickly as possible. It's good business. It's probably going to take closer to 4 or 5 years, though, I think.
I will say before 2029.
Okay.
Before then. I know that sounds far away. It's really not when you consider that it's 2+ years to even build it. And I can tell you that there will be ownership groups chomping at the bit to try and get in because they see the market size, they see the sport continuing to grow, revenues and ratings are robust. That was the report at their most recent Board of Governors meeting, and I'm extremely bullish on it. I just wasn't bullish on the last ownership group.
I feel like it's been like every, let's say like 5-ish years they've thrown a new team in there. So let's say I'll do 7 years and I'll say 2031.
I would say, at this point, the best case scenario would probably be 3 or 4 years. Like if they get into that mix for a quote unquote expansion team, because it feels like there's going to be a couple more teams coming in the pipeline, whether it's Atlanta, whether it's Houston, whether it's Arizona. So that would be my kind of guesstimate.
It depends how quickly J.J. Watt puts together that ownership group. I'm rooting for that. So I really hope they do come back. I don't know how long it's going to be. Let's say 2028.
And if the team were to return, do you think that they should stick to being the Arizona Coyotes or rebrand to something different?
Yotes forever. Keep the Kachinas. Just pretend like this never happened and get a good owner.
As my family is big supporters of Howler, the Coyote mascot, I would absolutely want them to be the Arizona Coyotes. You got a brand. It's a brand everybody likes. People love the jerseys. There's no reason to start over. The league has had 2 Winnipeg Jets, and they've moved histories around and things like that. There's no reason not to have it still be the Arizona Coyotes.
It feels to me like a Jets thing where it'd be weird to bring a team and not call them the Coyotes. And like the Coyotes, famously, were taken away from Coyotes fans, so I think that if hockey comes back to the desert, it would be a nice thing to do to quote-unquote give the Coyotes back to people in Arizona.
I would go Coyotes. It's a great name, and it's certainly great for the region. It fits. They've had some pretty good jerseys over the years, so I'd be good with Coyotes 2.0.
I think you need to rebrand. As much as I like the colors and the logo, I think what you need is a totally clean start. And that part of it, when you look at Arizona and a new logo and new everything, they're in a spot where they can start clean. And the losing, the arena issues, the changes that have all gone on, those are all in the past. And so I think you start clean, new records, new logo, new everything.